Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into some really interesting source material, an article called Three Silent Killers of Wealth and Success.
Yeah, it's a great piece. It really zeroes in on these habits, these mindsets that honestly most of us don't even notice.
Things that silently hold you back.
Exactly. They undermine your progress towards, financial freedom, success, however you define it.
So our mission today is to unpack these three silent killers, pull out the key ideas from the source, and help you figure out, well, what you might need to stop doing to build wealth.
Right. It's about making the unconscious conscious. These things feel normal, maybe even necessary sometimes, but long term, they can be really damaging to your potential.
Okay, let's jump right into the first one. This feels like the starting point for almost everyone.
It really is. The first silent killer the source talks about is getting trapped, permanently trading your time directly for money.
Right, trading time for money. I mean, you have to do it when you start, don't you? Builds discipline, you get experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's often step one. But the killer part, as the source argues, is getting stuck there forever.
Right.
That's the trap.
Staying linear.
Precisely.
Yeah.
The source contrasts the common way your income is tied directly to hours worked with the wealthy approach.
Which is?
Decoupling income from time. It's fundamentally different.
That reminds me of the Naval Ravikant quote mentioned in the source. The poor trade time for money.
Rich trade money for time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's powerful because it highlights leverage.
What does that mean exactly, trading money for time?
Well, instead of just earning hourly, the wealthy use their money, or maybe initial effort, to buy systems, hire help, build assets, things that generate income without needing their direct time input for every dollar.
So they're buying back their time, essentially.
Yes, and amplifying their results way beyond what their own hours would allow.
And if you're stuck just trading hours, your income is capped. Your life is capped, really. There are only so many hours.
Exactly, and there's a psychological comfort there, isn't there? That steady paycheck feels safe.
Right. Predictable.
But that safety, that predictability, can stop you from taking the maybe uncomfortable steps to break that link.
The source has that great example of Lisa, the graphic designer.
Oh, yeah, that really illustrates it. She was making, what, $25 an hour? Working 10-hour days?
Decent money, but completely tied to her being at the keyboard.
Totally capped by her hours. Then she had this insight.
Hmm.
What if she created something once?
Instead of one-off designs.
Right. She made a Canva template pack.
Yeah.
Sold it on Etsy.
A product, not just her time.
And the results were pretty stunning. The source says $8,000 a month passively within like 3 months.
Wow. Passive income. That's the key difference. Built once, sold many times.
And that just nails the whole exponential growth potential the source talks about. You remove the time cap by creating repeatable value.
Suddenly, your income isn't limited by the clock. One product, thousands of sales potentially.
So the action tip here is really clear. Start actively building something, just one thing, that can pay you repeatedly without requiring your direct time for each payment.
Like Lisa's templates. Or,
Could be anything. A digital product, maybe a faceless YouTube channel where you just share info, an ebook, an online course, even a niche blog or newsletter you can monetize later.
it's about shifting mindset, isn't it? From employee of your time to owner of an asset.
Exactly. Which actually leads perfectly into the second silent killer. If the first is about how you earn,
This one's about how you spend your attention.
you got it. Especially now, in the age endless scrolling. The second killer, consuming more than you create.
Oof. Yeah, that one hits hard.
Just think about it honestly. How many hours do you spend scrolling, watching, reading, just taking stuff in,
Compared to.
compared to the hours you spend actually making something?
Yeah.
Writing, building, designing, sharing your own ideas, teaching someone something.
The imbalance is probably huge for most people. We're just drowning in content.
And the source has this really stark quote. In a world full of consumers, the creators run the economy.
Wow, that really flips the script. Are you mainly a receiver or are you contributing value?
It's so easy to just consume, though. It gives you those little dopamine hits, feels good, feels like you're learning, or staying informed,
Right, feels productive sometimes.
but often it's passive. It doesn't translate into tangible results by itself.
Like the story about Arjun, the 21-year-old.
Yeah, classic example. He was watching, what, 4 hours of productivity videos a day?
4 hours. He must have felt super informed, super busy.
But totally unproductive. He wasn't doing anything with it. He was optimizing for the feeling of learning, not the output.
Until he switched it up.
He decided, okay, instead of just watching, I'm going to make one short video. Just 30 seconds. every day.
Simple commitment.
Tiny commitment. But the result,
Hmm.
the source is within a year, 1.2 million followers, sponsorships, courses. He quit college to run his business.
That's incredible. All from shifting from intake to output.
Because creation forces you to synthesize, to build, to face challenges. That's where real growth happens, not just in absorbing information.
So the action tip from the source is about attention management.
Pretty much. It suggests an 80-20 rule for your focus. Spend maybe 80% of your work or a focus time creating, and only 20% on smart, intentional consumption.
Intentional consumption, meaning
Like researching for a specific project, learning a skill you immediately plan to apply, not just endless scrolling.
So instead of watching 10 videos on how to write a blog post.
Watch one, then spend 80% of your time actually writing the post.
Makes sense. And creation can be lots of things, right? Writing, podcasting like this, maybe a faceless TikTok channel, designing templates, just sharing ideas online.
Anything where you're producing value, not just consuming it. Okay, so that brings us to number 3.
The third silent killer. And the source calls this one subtle, potentially deadly.
Yeah, because it often sounds reasonable. It's waiting for the perfect time.
Ah, yes. The I'll start when excuse.
Exactly. When I have more money saved, when I feel more ready, when I know more, when the kids are older, when work calms down.
We all have our own version of that.
We do. And the source is blunt here. The perfect time. It never actually arrives.
Never. Life always happens. Things stay busy.
You don't magically wake up feeling ready. The source argues readiness is a result of starting, not a prerequisite for it. Delay is deadly for dreams.
It feels like a form of self-protection, maybe. Fear of failure.
Absolutely. It's often rooted in fear of judgment, fear of not being good enough. Waiting feels safer than trying and maybe messing up.
The source uses the story of Samira, the single mom.
Right. She wanted to launch an online coaching program, but kept waiting for more time.
Which, for a single parent, feels like an impossible thing to wait for.
Totally. The perfect time was always just over the horizon. But then she made a conscious choice
To just start.
to start messy, imperfectly.
Yeah.
She forced herself, during her kids' nap time, to sit down and record one lesson. That's it.
Just one tiny step.
But it was movement. It broke the inertia. That small action created momentum. And the source says, within a year, working just 3 hours a day, she built a 6-figure business.
Wow. That really shows that momentum comes from doing, not thinking or waiting. Delay just kills your confidence.
Exactly. Yeah. You gain clarity, you gain confidence through the process of acting, not by waiting on the sidelines.
So, how do you fight this? The source had a practical tip. The 1-hour launch plan.
Yeah, I love this. It's super actionable. Pick one tiny piece of whatever project you're delaying.
Like drafting an outline, setting up a basic web page.
Writing the first paragraph. Recording that first lesson, even if it's rough. Set a timer for 60 minutes.
And just focus intensely for that hour. Build that one small thing.
And then this is key. Post it. Or share it. Put it out there imperfectly.
Get it out of your head and into the world.
Yes. Done is better than perfect. That needs to be the mantra if you want to kill the waiting habit.
Don't let perfectionism paralyze you.
Exactly. Aim for momentum, not perfection, especially at the start.
Okay, brilliant. Let's quickly recap these 3 silent killers we've unpacked from the source material. Things you need to actively stop.
Okay, first, stop trading time for money forever. Recognize its limits. Start building income systems that scale beyond your hours.
Second, stop consuming more than you create. Shift your focus. Become a producer of value, not just a passive consumer. Put your work out there.
And third, stop waiting for the perfect time. It doesn't exist. Readiness comes from starting. Momentum comes from movement. Start now, even if it's messy, with whatever you have.
The core message from the source seems to be that wealth, success, it's not magic. It's the result of consistent daily decisions.
Often silent decisions made despite fear or discomfort.
And you don't need a ton of money to start tackling these,
Not
right?
at all. The source emphasizes courage. The courage to take that first awkward step. Clarity about what you can offer or build. And consistency just keeps showing up, even with small actions.
Which leads to that final, really provocative thought from the source material.
Yeah, this one really sticks with you. It says, the rich don't wait for permission. They don't wait for someone to tell them they can start or build or create.
They give themselves the power.
They give themselves permission. So as you're listening, the real question to ask yourself, based on this deep dive, is which of these 3 silent habits might be holding you back the most right now?
And maybe more importantly.
What's one small, imperfect action you could take, maybe even today, to start breaking its hold?